In Joburg, Water says people need to prepare to store water for a massive disruption to services from Tuesday to Thursday next week. They say they're switching off, well, it's a long list of areas in Joburg. They're doing a bulk upgrade, which means water won't be supplied to many areas in Joburg from Tuesday evening until Thursday afternoon. Also, the normal supplies will take a long time to get back to normal. You know what it's like filling a reservoir. Sipho Mosai is the CEO of Water. Sipho, good afternoon to you. How big is this upgrade? How big is it that you have to switch off the water for so long?
Yeah, thank you, Stephen. Good afternoon to you. Thank you for having us. Yeah, but I think it will take time. It's a 48-hour shutdown. It's not a shutdown, it's more of a maintenance program. And then I think we have agreed with Joburg Water that there's therefore a need to have this. I'm sure you'll appreciate, Stephen and the viewers, that maintenance is not negotiable. And we have to do it. We call it a necessary inconvenience, because we're going to be inconvenienced for about 48 hours. And indeed, beyond that, we have then a reliable infrastructure going forward. So it is that time of the year where we have to effect maintenance to assist the system and boost the economic system going forward to ensure assurance of supply in those areas. So it is part of maintenance. It's planned, and yes, it may not have an adverse impact to an extent that it may happen, but I think it's important that we warn residents through the city of Joburg to prepare accordingly.
Okay,
but what we have done, yeah.
Sorry, Sipho.
So, Stephen, apologies. Let me just say this. What we've been doing in the last week or so, as we are balancing the system, is to make sure that we fill as much as possible the Joburg reservoirs, so that they are able to, stand strong and tough during this period of time, and we hope it will assist. Certain areas that we have indicated may be affected, they may not, after all, be affected if all plans goes, if everything goes according to plan.
Okay, so it's the usual story. The higher you are, the higher the ground that you live on, the more likely you'll be affected. The lower the ground, and you live at the bottom of a hill, you might get through the day, 2 days and not notice.
Correctly. I think that's how the system works.
Okay.
Even if you have an outage, the lower lying areas will get water quickly, and then the high lying areas, it will come like that. We will really request our consumers in the city of Johannesburg through Joburg Water to bear with us during this period of time. It is what it is. We just have to do maintenance like we do with our plants.
Sure. So, Sipho, we hear you on all of that. Are there any things that could make it take longer? Do I need to remind you of load shedding, Sipho? You, more than anyone, know how bad it can be if we suddenly go to stage 6 or whatever comes after stage 6 next week. If it's very, very cold, for example, which it is in Joburg in the mornings at the moment, could that make things take longer?
Please don't jinx us, Steve Ovo. We hope everything will go according to plan. But the maintenance program, as we historically call shutdown, anything can, in fact, let's speak more on the positive side. We may even complete in time. We have seen some of the maintenance program completing in time. But yes, and I think as part of communicating in advance is to say, should anything happen, please make sure that you have stored enough water to weather, in inverted commas, the storm. So, yeah, I think it will be 48 hours. We'll keep, through Johannesburg Water, the residents informed, and we're hopeful that we'll recover on time. And we're seeing lower stages of load shedding, and if it continues like that, there are no interruptions, no external factors. We hope to complete this project on brief, on budget, and on time.
Okay. So does everybody else, Sipho. With this issue, often it's easy to get confused between what you do. You supply bulk water supply to various municipalities, and what in this case the city of Joburg does. So you're responsible for getting water from the Vaal Dam primarily, but the Vaal Dam river system really from Lesotho, to the city of Joburg. They send it to my house most of the time.
Yes.
One of the things that happens when water gets switched off like this is that it can create all sorts of problems with the local infrastructure. You get hammering, you get all sorts of things in the pipes. I presume that the city of Joburg has known long in advance that this will happen, so they can prepare their infrastructure too?
Yes, that's correct. As a matter of communication protocol, we give them 21 days notice in advance, and then we continuously talk closer to the time. You'll recall that in the last week or two, we wanted to effect this maintenance program, but we couldn't because the system was crippling on their side. So yes, we worked in sync with them and take advice from them in terms of what we can and can't do at any time. And they then indicate that we are prepared. We have the system running. We'll deal with water hammers, as you indicate. But yes, in all fairness, that when the water comes back, there will be air in the system, what you call airlocks. They will have to take those airlocks out. The lower-lying areas will get water until we get rid of those airlocks. We will then be able to get water into the high-lying areas. But yeah, your understanding of the value chain is correct. We buy raw water from the Department of Water and Sanitation. We purify it and we supply it in bulk to the municipalities. The municipalities then will reticulate it. So that is why you see the communication in terms of the details of the suburbs that will be affected will have to come from Johannesburg Water. From where we're sitting, we'll not know which area, which street, which suburb will be affected. But we work very closely with them and share information during these times and don't material times.
Sipho Mosai, thank you very much indeed, the CEO of Rand Water. I imagine you're not going to get much sleep next week.